Now I've just lost too much hair.
Oh, yeah.
And here we go. We are live. I am joined today by Marcus Beer. Many of you know him from game trailers as the Annoyed Gamer. Many of you in the gaming industry know him as a PR and marketing veteran.
I thought you were going to say something else. Like many of you in the gaming industry know him as that pain in the ass.
I would never. I know him as my dear friend, one of the finest people to have a drink and chat with, and one of the biggest football fans I know. And that is the topic at hand today. We are going to have a football spectacular. It's Championship Sunday tomorrow. It's been one of the most entertaining seasons that I can remember. What have you thought of this season as a whole?
God, I'm having just nightmares of 4 years ago, when literally we're heading to this exactly the same situation, even down to Liverpool, my team, playing the same team on the final day at home. Yeah, I think it's been a cracking season. I have some wishes. I wish we had signed a certain player earlier than January, if possible, because I think he's been revolutionary. I think it's been ups and downs. There's been pure comedy. If you are somebody who, like me, hates Everton, or somebody like me who hates Manchester United, 5-0 at Old Trafford.
That was a good one.
Oh yes, yes. There's been highs, there's been lows. For my team, the run we've been on since January to come from 14 points behind to be 1 point behind as we go into the final weekend is phenomenal. Absolutely. I rue, damn it, the refereeing inconsistencies, and I think it all comes down, to be honest with you, to one game, and that was the game at Spurs, where we had Andy Robertson sent off, and for a tackle that he should have gone for, absolutely. But old Chin, the chin on two legs himself, Harry Kane, got away with an equally bad tackle that really could have ended somebody's career. Yeah. And because he's the England captain, he got away with it, didn't get sent off, and then scored the equalizing goal. And that really comes down to it. That just comes down to the difference. And we've had some breaks. We've had some lucky breaks in the season, as have the league leaders. Let's talk about Everton and the penalty result, the penalty there, and there's a couple of other VAR dubiouses that apparently happened. Not that I'm going to get into any of that in any way, shape, or form. But no, it's been a very entertaining season. I'm so glad everything is back after the lockdown of the season before last. And the start of last season, actually.
That was a weird time. The no fans games were just
they were surreal. Yeah, and the fact that my team was obviously going for the title and eventually won the title during lockdown. It was really bizarre to see them lift the trophy in an empty stadium. So having everybody back has been great.
We have Simon Sinclair wishing us a good afternoon, although for us it is morning, sir.
It is. It's 10:05. And it's funny, we've gone from missing the supporters so much 2 seasons ago, and the start of last season, to now wondering if the UK government are going to drop in a bunch of new restrictions, because in the past 2 weeks alone, we've had several instances of pitch invasions, assaults on players. It happened on the Sheffield United Nottingham Forest First Division playoff game, semi-final, where a Sheffield United fan assaulted a Notts Forest player. We had on just this Thursday pitch invasion at Everton, when they secured their another season in the top flight by beating Crystal Palace. And it was a hell of a comeback win, to be fair. And you got to give them kudos for that. But their fans...
They were down 2-0? Is that right?
Sorry?
Were they down 2-0?
They were down 2-0 at halftime. Yeah, and they came back, and I caught two of the goals before turning off in disgust, because obviously I turned the TV on to watch them get relegated, and I was very disappointed that they weren't. But yeah, I mean, the first goal was quite excellent from the right-footed centre back, who sort of like chests the ball down and volleys it in with his left. Pretty amazing. But yeah, at the end of that, there was a pitch invasion, and where the way Goodison Park is situated, the dugout is across the field, apparently from the players' tunnel. So you have to cross the field. So my understanding is that Patrick Vieira, who is obviously a footballing legend, World Cup winner with France, part of the Arsenal Invincibles, was making his way across the pitch and was getting harassed by the Everton fans, and he aimed a kick at one of them.
I saw that clip.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, things are getting out of hand. I mean, I think they're just getting out of hand in society anyway, but it's the perfect microcosm of society. We don't know what was said. I mean, he was a fiery player, but he wasn't like Roy Keane level psycho. So I'm guessing something really nasty was said to him, and he was already feeling irked because his team had just thrown away a 2-goal lead. Right. So yeah, you see all this stuff that's happened, and you just wonder what's going to happen. I mean, how flares are still getting into grounds. Everton, again, in particular, with their flares. And just the behavior of fans in general. I mean, look, my team's fans have been naughty from time to time. There's been pitch invasions. There's been some controversial moments. And I think every team has that. But it just seems to be getting worse. And we've, like I said, we've swung from, oh, we miss the fans to, oh, do we really need the fans? Should we, I've seen proposals saying that should the first few rows be taken out around the ground to create a moat, if you will. I mean, how pathetic is that we can't be trusted as human beings to go to a game, enjoy it, and not be absolute knobheads at the end of it.
And Simon, I think, sums it up nicely and says, let's leave the pitch for the players. Could not agree more.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there used to be, I mean, in the 70s in particular, hooliganism was a huge problem in the UK with English teams. Whenever, there'd be fights, pitch invasions, rampages through town centres. When England teams went abroad, they'd basically kick the shit out of everybody. And I mean, they had to put fences up. And then you had the Heysel Stadium disaster.
Yeah.
And then you had Hillsborough, which is obviously, both of those involved Liverpool. One, the Heysel disaster was unfortunately down to a mindless minority of Liverpool supporters. But the Hillsborough one was overcrowding and bad policing, and 97 Liverpool fans died, which is why every Liverpool jersey, I will show you, has that number on the back.
Right.
This is next season's jersey. Hopefully, I know we're going to be wearing as FA and League Cup winners. To be honest with you, I'm quite confident of us being European champions as well. But who knows? We might just have the quadruple there. But yes, it's an issue that's been been rearing its head, and it unfortunately ties into everything else we're seeing in society now. Facebook pages full of hate, the WhatsApp messages, January the 6th, all that crap, and it's sad.
BSU Kenyan says it's interesting to think in comparison how close we let fans to NBA games. That is,
but we've been seeing some stuff in the NBA games. We've been seeing fans racially abuse NBA players in the past couple of weeks, and the NBA players respond. And honestly, you know what? I don't know whether if you decide to abuse an NBA player and you're sitting courtside, you are either the bravest person in the land or the stupidest mofo. Because I am not going to take hurl a racial epithet at a team of 6'7", wall of muscle athletes. I mean, you shouldn't do it anyway. It's friggin' evil. But yeah, I mean, it is. But it's happened. It's happened there too. But I think perhaps the big difference is that NBA, American sports don't have this as much because they're so boring and trying to wake the fans up. I mean, we've got to have our high scoring games here. We'll have the 97 to 96, or we'll have the, whatever with the baseball, of course, world's most boring sports. But yeah, American sports are just dull as ditch water. Sorry.
With Sword and Gun has a story. A couple of seasons ago, a fan threw a beer at a player, and he went into the stands and punched the wrong fan. I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to twat somebody, at least get it right.
Yeah. And then BSU Kenyon brought up Ron Artest. I mean, that was the Malice in the Palace, and that was a long time ago. I forget what year. I think it was early 2000s where Artest jumped into the stands, fought some fans, caused one of the biggest brawls in NBA history. But let us move back to football. The topic.
Yeah, sorry, we got sidetracked.
So for the season, so much came down to the last week, and there's still a lot that will be decided tomorrow.
Yeah,
let's start from the top. Who is going to win the league?
Let's start at the bottom, and we'll save the good stuff at the end. Okay, let's get the chaff out of the way.
Well, relegation, as you mentioned before, Everton during the week managed to stay up, but we still have one spot left.
And two teams going for it.
Leeds or Burnley? Who do you have going down?
I have Leeds going down. I mean, it sucks because. First of all, let's talk about the other two teams that they've already gone down, Watford and Norwich. I mean, otherwise known as the yo-yo clubs.
Yeah.
I mean, they are literally yo-yo clubs. It's them along with Fulham and probably Bournemouth. It used to be West Brom, but now it's Fulham taking the place of Bournemouth taking the place of West Brom. And these four teams just pass each other up and down all the time. And let's face it, they're not good enough for the Premier League.
Yeah.
It just seems to me that there needs to be a Premier League B. And perhaps we could talk about that later. I'll tell you about my Premier League B ideas. But yes, the bottom two in Norwich and Watford, fucking useless. Now Leeds, I would love to see Leeds stay up because they were playing, especially last season, they were playing such amazing football.
So much fun.
It was so great. And then they had several major injuries this season. And it wasn't so much the wheels came off, but the wheels came off, the chassis cracked, the doors fell off, the engine was left on the freeway, and the transmission exploded. Well,
who did they? I mean, Bamford missed most of the season. Calvin Phillips was out for a long time.
And that's two of the spine. Yeah, I mean, Bamford, he had such a banging season last year, and he got an England call-up. Now, I don't think he's international quality, but he was perfectly suited for the way Leeds played. And then Calvin Phillips, again, now he is an England regular, fantastic player. And let's face it, if they hit the drop, he's gone. He's off to, I'm seeing that, he's already turned down Manchester United because Man United and Leeds so close that he doesn't want to do a Cantona. I think it really sucks. I honestly think it sucks that they got rid of Bielsa for midway through the season. I know they had a bad run. I mean, they turned up at Liverpool, and I think we twatted them 6-0. And that was just, you could see they were still trying to play.
Yeah.
But the writing was on the wall that they were going to be a team that was going to be one of the bottom four, no matter who they brought in. I mean, they could have brought in God and still have, still be in this situation. So they should have kept with him and then maybe let him leave gracefully at the end of the season.
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows? He might have even got a bounce, got a little bit of a boost from them. But they brought in
Jesse Marsh.
Yeah. Who is on, he's on a hiding to nothing. I mean, he's now the guy who took him down because Marco's off. He's like, I'm done. Nothing to do with me, blah, blah, blah. I left them with more than enough games for you guys to get out of trouble. And now Jesse Marsh has come in from Germany. And he is unfortunately looking to carry on the spectacular run of American managers in the Premier League, following on from the legend that is Bob Bradley, who had his had a ball wrecking Swansea City, my hometown club, several years ago. And it's interesting that Bob Bradley then came back to the States and has gone back to some success as a manager here in MLS. So for those people who say that MLS is on the up, it's like, don't believe so. I kid, but yeah, I think Leeds will go down. I think Burnley, but who does Burnley have on the last day?
Let's see. Burnley has Newcastle.
That might be a tough one.
Newcastle is shockingly average.
Not shockingly. Newcastle is sports washed, serious,
now
oil money. Yeah, I mean, Newcastle are basically going to be Man City with a slightly less offensive strip. Yeah, I mean, Burnley have got Burnley and Newcastle. Leeds are away at Brentford. I can see Brentford twatting Leeds. I really can. Brentford have been a fantastic, addition to the Premier League. They've done so well. This is their first full season, isn't it? Yeah. Because I knew we drew. I said, there you go. Liverpool drew 3-3 there. That's another. That could have been another one that could cost us the Premier League. But I can't see Brentford throwing it away. They're a really good team, and they want to get it. They want to get as high as they can this season, because if they're anything like the other teams that have been promoted over the last few years and have that first great season, they're screwed next year.
Simon brought up a great point. The problem is that the gulf between the Championship and the Premiership is bigger than ever.
Yeah. It is. I mean, it's even with the parachute players, and this is where I do believe that we need an intermediate league between the two. Hello, Tim. Yes, nice to be up and about. I've been really quiet recently. I've just been focusing on the recovery, which is good. So yes, but no, it's not about me. Let's talk about footy. So yes, I think there should be a Premier League B. I think there should be. They should take the bottom 6 teams in the Premier League, the top 6 teams in the Championship, and then that's a buffer league between the Championship and the Premier League proper. And I think that would actually, I mean, it would never happen because it involves all the teams voting for it, and nobody, no turkey is going to vote for Thanksgiving. But if they had something like that, it would reduce fixture strain. So we wouldn't have the ridiculous situation of, for example, Liverpool playing 120 minutes plus penalties in the FA Cup final on last Saturday, which we won, by the way. We won that one. And then playing 3 days later down at St. Mary's, where we literally had to make 9 changes. Thankfully, for once, we don't have major injuries and we have a pretty good squad. But yeah, I just think something like that would actually stop this bounce of teams going in between the two, and I think it would improve the quality of player safety, player performance. We'd have better players; they wouldn't be tired, and yes, there'd be less matches in the season. But that's not necessarily a bad thing as far as I'm concerned. But it'll never happen.
So, with Sword and Gun mentioned, are the top teams throwing around too much money and creating the large gap between the top half and bottom half of the Premier? Has there ever been a salary cap in the Premier League?
No, well, there's never been a salary cap. Well, not in the Premier League. I mean, back in the old days of the First Division, and I'm talking back in I think the 50s and 60s. I think there was a salary cap back then, and then it was found to be illegal. And they did away with it, and we started to see more money coming in, culminating in the birth of the Premier League in the mid-90s, where Sky Sports got involved and started throwing huge amounts of money. But I mean, if we do want to talk about this, I think the best person to talk about teams throwing around so much money is indeed our very own RPad. I think you should talk to everybody, the boys and girls at home, about your net spend as a club, Manchester City, spaffing £100 million. £100 million. It's a crazy number on Jack freaking Grealish. And if you'd had the chance, you probably would have spent another 150 on Harry Kane.
Yeah.
And then, of course, signing Erling Haaland for a moderate fee. But he
tremendous salary. The salary is going to be
salary and bonuses. And this is a team that commercially isn't that successful. I mean, certainly not top 5 in the world with regards to commercial clout. I mean, you're looking at Real, you're looking at Barca, you're looking at Man United, you're looking at Liverpool, and that's not even counting the likes of Juve and the 2 Milans.
We actually we were more profitable than United last year. I mean, yeah, City's books are not the most accurate. There's questions about their sponsorship with the Etihad Airways, which is the government-owned airline.
Yeah, that's financial fair play is not something you're renowned for. And I don't blame Guardiola, and I don't blame the players. I mean, if somebody offered me a shit ton of money to go and play football,
you take it. No one will say no to less money. I mean, and I get it. And it does. There are challenges to being a fan of any kind, really. I mean, I grew up in New York as a Yankees fan, so I get all kinds of shit for the money that the Yankees have spent, and they were the evil empire of baseball for my whole life.
I've always hated the Yankees, and I'll tell you why in a minute.
Well, of course, your team's owned by the Red Sox.
Well, no, before that, it was actually the Yankees had a tie-in with Manchester United.
Did they?
They had a cross-promotional marketing tie-in for several seasons with Man United, and that's made me hate them more.
Okay, that is absolutely fair. But I will say that I became a City fan before they were bought by an oil country, as they are so called. They had at the time, a deposed Thai prime minister was the owner.
Was that Shinawatra?
Yes, Mr. Toxin. Yeah.
Yeah, toxic.
Depends. The poor people in Thailand loved him.
Why?
He gave them stuff. And he wasn't. Thai politics is a little weird. There's a lot of elitism with the Bangkok educated people, and they basically look down on the poor farmers. So, yeah, and I mean, all politics suck and are corrupt to various degrees.
Basically, I should be put in charge of the planet, and I'll have everybody whipped into shape. It will be equality for everyone. The rich will be taxed heavily. All the poor will have healthcare and a living wage and a roof over their heads, and access to internet. And yes, Liverpool will be the champions of everything every year.
BSU Kenyon says, I struggle because I hate the Red Sox, but like Liverpool. BSU Kenyon is from the Chicago area, so I imagine he's a Cubs or White Sox fan. I actually don't know. I
mean, obviously, yes. Fenway Sports Group bought Liverpool in just over 10 years ago now. and saved us from administration. We were literally in the hands of the previous American owners, Gillette and Hicks, who sound like a team of shady lawyers that you'll see on a billboard in downtown LA when you're trying to get off a parking ticket.
You mean my clients that I write for?
What?
I write for a lot of lawyers.
Oh, okay. Well, Gillette and Hicks are not lawyers, thankfully. They're actually scumbags and con merchants. They're basically the late 2010 version of Stan Kroenke over at Arsenal.
Right.
But yes, Fenway Sports came in about a decade ago and rescued Liverpool, because we were literally a day away from being wound up, and that means shut down by the High Courts. And they came in, cleared all the debts, started building, started supplying the money, and started building towards. I mean, we had our 2014 run for the title that was made infamous with Steven Gerrard's slip.
Oops.
Yeah. But yeah, they brought in Jurgen Klopp and they've backed him. I mean, our net spend, when we talk about spending, our net spend is still astronomically low. High annually. Yeah, in comparison. But yes, there is a lot of money. There is a lot of money, and you have to spend money to get in that top four. If you don't get in the top four, you are you're literally you're the pauper looking in through the window as people eat steak, because there's so much money in the Champions League. That's the holy grail.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why Liverpool last season, from our perspective, making that run late in the season where we went unbeaten for so long, and we ended up finishing third despite having lost our entire spine of our team for God knows how long, was so amazing and important. And the fact that we hit third instead of fourth, so we didn't have to qualify, playing in the qualifying rounds for the Champions League, was great. But I think what Chelsea are currently going through with Abramovich and the the Russian sanctions. I mean, they're talking this sale is supposed to go through any day, but it's already cost them Rudiger, who is off to Real Madrid.
Yeah,
because they have to stop.
Probably.
Yeah, there's
Azpilicueta is probably gone too.
Yeah, was it Andreas Christensen, Rudiger, and Azpilicueta? So that's three important defensive players. And I mean, at some point,
so Bryn.
Bryn. But I mean, look, Stockport didn't say Stockport beat Wrexham.
That's right. Liverpool's team.
Yeah, Wrexham, the Welsh team, which sucks. But yeah, I think what Chelsea are going through, and there's obviously the sale is on hold again because of this 1.5 billion pound loan that Abramovich made, and everybody says, it's now a loan, whereas before it was basically
his money.
Well, he was dodging for financial fair play. And I think, unfortunately for yourself, Ray, and for new fans, Manchester City fans, that at some point in the not too distant, the same level of scrutiny or the same level of sanctions will be brought in. I mean, right now, once the Russia-Ukraine thing has been resolved, hopefully with Putin in a jail somewhere, standing trial for war crimes, that Russia can get back into things, and it just shows that we need to get away from fossil fuels and stuff like that. But I mean, countries like Russia that have these oligarchs, that have these people who are exceptionally shady and are using stolen funds, illegally gotten funds, blood money, whatever you want to call it, it's going to kick off a call. And I mean, the three clubs I can think of are Paris Saint-Germain, Man City, and Newcastle United, who fans should be really worried. I think the Chelsea fans are in for a shit summer. I don't think it's going to get resolved. I think it's going to drag on, meaning they can't sign anybody.
Yeah.
They could actually lose their license to be in business, which means they get wound up as a club and then they go bye-bye. I don't think that'll happen, but if it does, Jesus, I mean, just think of all those players that will be available. Lukaku, Havertz, Timo Werner, Pulisic.
Yeah.
The front line. Good grief.
Mason Mount. He's their gem.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to run this by you and everyone out there who is watching. Because sometimes I don't feel great about being a City fan because the owners do not humane things.
They're scum, basically. And I'm not tarring Manchester City fans and members, the people who work day to day in the club, the people who work in the canteen, the groundsmen. They're not scum. They're doing what they can to put a bit of bread on the table and people can eat. And for the fans who've been around for a very long time and who've gone through the ups and downs. I mean, I remember the days when Man City was a joke.
Yeah.
Where they were a yo-yo club between the top two divisions. And then they occasionally have, they'd unearth a gem like King Cladsey. I mean, I remember the Mark Hughes days when he took over, and I think that was at the start of the was that the Shinawatra reign, or was that the start?
It was still Toxin.
Yeah, and he spent all that money. Was it Robinho?
Yes, that was our guy.
Oh God! So yeah, I mean, it's every club has their rough moments, and I do feel sorry for the majority of fans. I mean, the ones that are the prawn sandwich fans, the latecomers, I don't know much about football, but I like that Man City are winning everything, so I will support them. Wonderful, wonderful team. Yes, I love that old kickball thingy. Those are the ones that can piss off. In my opinion.
No, I mean the other team that I was attracted to are Forest Green Rovers. They do nice hippie environmental things. They got promoted to the championship.
They were the first team to go to a match on an environmentally friendly bus, if I remember correctly. Yes.
Right.
See, I read Football 365 as well. No, I mean, look, my favorite team is obviously this team, and I started following them in the 80s when I was a teenager. And I've been with them through thick and very, very thin. But obviously then there's the hometown club, Swansea City, who are having a rough time of it after dropping out the Premier League. Swansea have gone to top division twice in my lifetime. Once it was literally one season in the early 80s where they went from basically the old fourth division to the top of the first division in consecutive years. And then they were at the top, and then things started to go wrong, and they went all the way back down in the next 4 years. They did the full round trip. But yeah, I mean, I've never felt for them the way I feel for Liverpool.
Right.
It's just the way it is. I mean, Liverpool, when I grew up, had Ian Rush playing for them, who obviously a legend, Welsh number 9. John Toshak was another one who played for Liverpool and Wales, then went on to manage Swansea. So yeah, they were the team in the 80s. So I fell in love with them. And then I've been with them all the way through some of the really dodgy, the Roy Hodgson phase, where we signed Christian Poulsen and Paul Kaczewski. Sorry, I know you've had some bad times, but Christ. And then of course watching Manchester United win everything for dominate for about 15 years was pretty revolting as well.
So BSU Kenyon mentions that he came to Liverpool late, but what attracted me most was Klopp and the energy he brings and style he runs. Yeah, absolutely. Seems like a fantastic guy. The football is so much fun to watch. I like the heavy metal football, but even he has evolved it at Liverpool, and it's gotten better. And it's more organized, heavy. Maybe, are they prog rock football?
It's basically it's heavy metal pops. It's the orchestra is conducting it now, as opposed to a thrash metal. And yeah, I mean we've brought in players, and we've gradually changed things around. I mean, before it was just the fullbacks bombing forward and the midfield shutting everything down and just, tackling like demons. But now we've got Thiago Alcantara, who is just such
wonderful player.
Plays on the left side of midfield, and we've only lost one game, which he's in which he started since he's joined, which is not quite as bad as Ibrahima Konate, who is not as good, who has never lost a Liverpool game he started. Can you believe that? Well, we've only lost 3 games all season, actually, so that's quite understanding.
That's right. It's first division that Forest Green got promoted. They were second, and they did lose their manager to Twatford.
Oh yeah, that was rough. That was just rough. That was such a horrible way they did it as well. But with regards to Liverpool, yeah, we've Jurgen has evolved the style and the players who've come through, and he's worked really well with it. And I find it interesting that obviously we had Arsenal, Man United for the longest time, and then we had Liverpool, Man United before that, or Chelsea have been in the Chelsea, Man United have been in the equation, with regards to these rivalries, and they've hated each other. Managers have hated each other, Ferguson and Wenger, Mourinho and everybody. And now we have Jurgen and Pep, who are genuinely nice guys, unhateable. I mean, you only have one player on your team that I can actually hate.
Fernandinho?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's pissing off after tomorrow anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I will probably find a way to hate Erling Haaland, but unfortunately right now, I mean, I'm really pissed because it's going to screw up my Football Manager games moving forward, because I play Football Manager.
And you put Haaland on your squad.
I got Haaland. Not only did I get Haaland on my squad, I signed him from Borussia Dortmund. I didn't have, as first thing I did was went to go sign him as soon as I started the new game with Liverpool. I didn't have enough money to activate his release clause. But they were interested in Diogo Jota, so I gave them Jota in part exchange, which means that I basically romped to the title in my first season. And actually, I did the double with regards to the European Championship as well, the European Cup, which meant that the next season I could also add Kylian Mbappe on a free because he wanted to come to the team that was so successful. And in the process, I sold off Sadio Mane, Naby Keita, James Milner. I got rid of a bunch of the journeymen for bizarrely inflated prices because they'd done so well in the championship year. Right. I had a clear out that allowed me to retool my squad. And I know this is a random, but I am going to, and you should be playing this. I know we play Fantasy Football League. Yeah. And thank God for all my trades went through this morning, all my waivers. So this is my current team right now. Let's see. Let me go with my full strength team.
Simon is taking off. Thank you for watching, sir.
Yes. No, I can't see Man City losing it either. So these are the players I've managed to. I mean, my back four is still Van Dijk, Konate, Robertson, Alexander-Arnold, and Alisson, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
But then you move up front, and let me just. These are the players I have. I mean, I have Erling Haaland, Mo Salah, and Kylian Mbappe as my front three. And then I have Christian Eriksen, who I signed on a free at the same time as Mbappe because he was on a 6-month contract at Brentford. Right. And I started following him as my top transfer target. So I signed him for free, along with Frank Kessie out of Milan. I got all these for free, and it's great. And so then that means I should manage to save my money for my other 3 big midfield acquisitions. Joshua Kimmich from Bayern Munich, Jude Bellingham, and Declan Rice. Yeah, that's my midfield. That's my midfield rotation, and I'm having my Premier season this year actually because I am, and this is the 23-24 season.
Nice.
Yeah, I am after 23 games gone. I am on 69 points. I have a goal difference of plus 83, and I've played 23 and won 23.
Okay, Bryn wants us to get back to predictions. Yes, we both agree that Leeds is going down. Let's talk about the battle for fourth place. Can Spurs spur this up?
I think St. Tottenham's day is long gone. I don't think Spurs will spurs this up.
Yeah,
I think
surprised Arsenal blew it.
Oh God, they totally blew it. I mean, if Harry Kane might be down with food poisoning. They do that is the big rumor. But and I don't know who has Harry Kane on our team, on our fantasy league. But,
Rob Smith.
Tough shit, Rob. That's what you get for supporting Sheffield United. But yeah, if he is out, they could maybe balls it up. But then you got Sonny boy. Sonny boy, the pipes are calling. He's the man who's going to secure second place for me tomorrow in our fantasy.
They're also playing Norwich, so it's not, they don't.
Yeah, it's not exactly a difficult one. And Arsenal have Everton, who have nothing to play for now at all as well. But I mean, Arsenal have just been found out. I mean, they go on these good runs and then they come up to a good team. And then they just go to pieces. But yeah, recently I obviously saw the Spurs game. I saw, I think it was the West Ham game where they were just getting battered from pillar to post. Yeah, I mean, they don't deserve to be in the Champions League, whereas Spurs have put it together. I mean, and Conte, their manager, deserves all the plaudits because, again, much like with Chelsea, halfway through the season, he made the tweaks. They signed Kulusevski.
Yes,
the player I've actually signed in other iterations of Football Manager. Excellent young player, and they've got a deadly front three. They've got them playing really attractive football. Yes, they have the brain farts, but I see them putting 5 past Norwich tomorrow. I think they will be in 5th. My hope then is, let's see. Sorry, I've got the list of matches up here tomorrow. Yeah. I hope Crystal Palace beat Man United, because if Crystal Palace beat Man United, and I'm going to go to the tables here, and West Ham win, Manchester United will be in the Europa Conference.
Yes, that's the new shitty tournament that's even below Europa League.
Yeah. Plus, I've got West Ham to win because I have a Jared Bowen in my team, and he's been
phenomenal this season.
Yeah, he's been so good.
Sword and Gun says, I love their coach, Antonio Conte. He gets so excited even when they score a third game. Yeah. He also has the best hair plugs in world football.
Well, considering he's spending a lot of time pulling said hair out at the start of his tenure as the manager of Spurs, I understand why he's gone for industrial strength. Let's see. Arsenal are at Everton. West Ham are at Brighton. So that's going to be a tough one for West Ham because Brighton Brighton playing some good stuff, and their 4-0 win over Man United a couple of weeks ago was just beautiful.
That was great. Brighton, I love watching them as a neutral. I love their fullbacks. You got Terry Lamptey on the right. He's like 5'3", but is probably one of the fastest guys in the league. Mark Cucurella at left, and he has that big puffy hair, glorious hair. And
he's been rumored to come to your team this summer.
Yeah.
Apparently Pep likes the look of his hair and wants him on the left-hand side because shock horror, he is a left-footed left back.
Yeah. Well, we had one of those, but he's in jail right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is with it. I'm just going into smug mode here. I don't know what it is with the Manchester teams and their,
and the rapists.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah, horrible.
So bad.
But yeah, I could see that being a close game. I mean, part of me hopes that West Ham prevail because, as I said, I've got a couple of good players from West Ham in my team. I saw you got rid of Antonio, by the way.
Yes.
Somebody else snagged him because I was going to drop him in up front, but somebody else snagged him. So, yes, I would love to see West Ham pip Manchester United. If Manchester United are going into Europe next season, I want them in the conference. I want them in the short bus of European tournaments.
Let's talk about something that we got wrong going into the season. And I'll kick this one off. For me, it was Chelsea. I thought they were going to run away with the league. My thinking was they won Champions League. They're looking good. They signed Lukaku, who had a killer year in Italy. Havertz was going to get better because he wouldn't get COVID twice this season. And he would adjust to the league. Same thing with Timo Werner. I thought he was going to get better. But that did not work. Lukaku was not that good. Havertz was very good. Werner was not good. And then all this stuff with Russia happened. But honestly, them securing third place was way better than I thought, given their circumstances. But I really thought Chelsea was going to be the team to beat this year, and that was not the case.
I mean, to be honest with you, they are safe. They are 100% safe in third place. I mean, they have to lose by several goals and have Spurs score double figures against Norwich to pip them. I am quite pleased that Chelsea effed up this season. Any team that hires or has had Frank Lampard as a manager deserves my hate anyway. I've got a lot of time for Tuchel. He's not a bad, he's actually a really good manager. Yeah. I just wondered how much, where all this money came from last year. Especially we've been on the transfer bans because of the irregularities. We saved up all this money, and they kept on then buying all this money. And basically, any time a player was connected to Liverpool or mentioned in the same breath as Liverpool, Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, and Christian Pulisic, they all fucked off to Chelsea because Chelsea swooped in. So yes, it's nice to see them suffering this year in only third place. I actually never thought Lukaku would be a good fit for the way they play. Okay. I don't know who authorized Lukaku, because if you look at the way he's played, his best performances have never been for a big team in the UK, and it's nothing to do with the player. He's a great player, but he was at Everton, did really, really well on loan. West Brom, really, really well on loan, I believe. And then Manchester United and Chelsea, you have to build your team and your attack around him. Yeah. You can't just drop him in and say, oh, we'll play our usual game. We're going to force him to change. He is, there's a reason Belgium were playing so well for the longest time, because they built their team around him as a spearhead, and he knew what he had to do. And so I can see him buggering off back to Italy, and good for him. He deserves to be somewhere where he's loved, because he's a fantastic player, and he had such a shit time the first time at Chelsea. He had such a shit time at Man United, and now this second time round. I really hope he gets a chance.
His Man United fan chant was one of the funniest chants I ever heard, where they had Romelu Lukaku. He's our Belgian scoring genius with a 24-inch penis. Jesus. Scoring all the goals.
United fans. Oh, wow.
I did not make that song, by the way. I'm just
repeating.
Yes. You can find that on YouTube.
Or not. Just stay away from it. I actually thought, I had this horrible fear at the beginning of the season that Manchester United would do better.
Really?
Because they pulled in Sancho, who was such a good talent, had done so well at the Euros for England. Penalty miss notwithstanding, and the abuse he got, him, Marcus Rashford, and Saka. Was just abysmal. But he was the one he was the player I thought would hit the ground running and really knock in some assists. And then they signed Ronaldo, and I thought, all right, 20 million for Ronaldo. He may not be, he's not the super pressing guy, but that wasn't their game plan back then.
Right.
So with Sancho on one wing, Marcus Rashford on the other, Ronaldo up front, that was a potent front three as far as I'm concerned. And then, you've got Pogba, and you pair him with, you could pair him with a blind donkey and a lame giraffe, and you still have a great midfield, because he's a chap with issues, but he's still a world-class player on his day.
Incredible talent. You got Bruno Fernandes too.
Bruno Fernandes, De Gea, the world's largest forehead in Harry Maguire. They signed Varane from Real Madrid.
That's right.
I mean, they on paper, that's a squad that should be there or thereabouts at the end of the season. Whether it's a League Cup win and top 4, FA Cup win and top 4, whatever. Maybe not challenging for the league, but I looked at Liverpool's, our transfer outlay and our business, and we only brought in Konate last summer, and I was worried because I thought I was having nightmares about Virgil van Dijk not coming back as good as he was, and us just having these real issues. And I thought Manchester. I thought the top 4 would be, Man City, Chelsea, Man United, and Liverpool. Not sure which order, but I thought Man United would do really, really well. I'm really happy to have been proven wrong.
That's great. Yeah. Now let's talk player of the season.
Should we do our predictions for tomorrow before Bryn has some sort of seizure? I don't know if he has to run off or something. I don't know. What are we doing? I just want to hear it. It's up to you.
Let's go player of the season.
Player of the season. All right.
You got
league player of the season.
League player, yeah.
De Bruyne.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, Jesus. The 4-goal show against Wolves. I mean, he's like, oh, you signed Erling Haaland? Well, this is the standard you're going to have to come up against. I mean, he is. I mean, any player who basically proves Chelsea wrong,
yes,
automatically fantastic. See Mo Salah, who, I mean, and I would have said it would have been Mo Salah, but Mo has been, since he's come back from AFCON,
he's just looked tired.
He's not looked himself. The contract negotiations are not helping him or anybody. He's got an absolute bell end of a manager. And I think Kevin De Bruyne has been above and beyond that. If anybody can drag Man City over the finish line tomorrow, it's De Bruyne. And I think if De Bruyne does that and you win the title tomorrow, he should be shoo-in for player of the season. Mo Salah got the football writers player of the season, I believe, a couple of weeks ago. But and I think that's based on his performances earlier in the year, up until probably about 6 weeks ago. But De Bruyne has been so consistent. I know people are saying Phil Foden, but
Bryn said that only because he's from Stockport.
Okay, because I got Foden in my Champions League, my fantasy football league squad, and he's not playing.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's not that good. So for me, it's De Bruyne with regards to overall best player.
So De Bruyne did win player of the season. I think Salah was absolutely the best player for the first half of the season, and De Bruyne was the best player for the second half. But for me, I'm going with Youngmin Son for Spurs because he carried that team all year. I think this is the first season that he scored more goals than Kane. Beginning of the season, Kane was still angry about not getting traded to or not getting sold to Man City, and he was awful for first 2 or 3 months, but Son was carrying them, and he's been great throughout the season.
Oh, he's a fantastic player. I could see that. I think the lack of a trophy would perhaps harm him. But yeah, I would. I mean, I can see him winning. Fantastic, especially if he gets the Golden Boot tomorrow, because I don't know if Mo's going to start because of obviously this groin strain and protecting him for the Champions League final.
Right.
But yeah,
he's one behind Mo. Is that right?
I think it's Kane and Mo are level, and Son is one behind. So they are. I think that's what is. That's the situation right now, and I think Mo actually has the most assists. It's Mo, Trent, and
Yes.
Andy Robertson.
Oh, this Mo is 22 goals. Son is 21 goals.
And what's Kane on?
Kane is 16. He's actually in fourth.
He's in fourth, is he? Okay.
Ronaldo is third at 18.
Oh, that's right. I remember ESPN. Somebody ESPN put a tweet about Ronaldo being the best goal scorer in the second half of the season. Blah blah blah. Hang on. How can anybody complain about Mane? Because Mane has been the best player Liverpool's had, certainly the best attacker in the second half of the season. I mean, it's funny. The AFCON defeat and the World Cup qualifying defeat affected Mo Salah in a negative way. But Sadio Mane has come along, and with the exception of his penalty miss last weekend, he's been an absolute revelation playing a centre forward. I mean, he's been shuttled. And you look at this player who was signed as a right winger. And then Mo Salah came in and he was moved to the left wing. Mm-hmm. And now Luis Diaz has come in, who is signing of the season, by the way, Luis Diaz. Yeah. Now Diaz comes in and Mane's up front, and he's just taken to that and added that to his repertoire. And he's scoring goals. He's linking play. My only concern with him is that, he leads with the elbow a little too much. But it's interesting that Bayern Munich are rumored to be ready to offer 80 to 90 million for him this summer because he's out of contract next year. And nobody's talking about his contract renewal or Bobby Firmino's. Right. Because all three of them are up at the same time, but everybody's focusing on Mo.
Well, Mo is the best. Firmino, I mean, you see him week in, week
like the teeth.
Yes, the teeth, but he looks it looks like he's slowing down a bit, and you have other options there.
Yeah, I think, look, Bobby has served us really, really well. I think we will let him run down his contract and leave on a free. Southampton game midweek just showed how useful he is to the squad. I see him more as an attacking midfielder more than a striker. And seeing him, against the lesser teams, seeing him playing behind somebody like Jota or another striker that we could get in, right. Would be great, because I think we could, anchor midfield with two players and have him just in front. And I think his vision, his tricks and his passing, he could actually make a world of difference in that particular role. He doesn't quite have the pace of yesteryear, but I mean, he's only 30. He's not my age, for God's sake.
But he has to carry those teeth that slows him down.
But he's an absolute legend. So yeah, I mean, anybody who has been disappointed with having Sadio Mane in their fantasy football league in the second half of the season, you're crazy.
I think he's just more disappointed that you took second place from him.
Well, I mean, it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. I mean, this if everybody's done their trades this morning when everything opened up, and now of course you could sign anybody who's available now. It's literally, there's no waivers anymore. It's just free for all. So I've already made several. I was up at 7 this morning doing some trades, but I only kept 2 players from my team from last year, and one was Alisson in goal, and the other one was Son up front, because he plays in midfield.
Yeah,
that's the beauty. I mean, I've got Diego Jota and Heung-min Son in my midfield when they are technically strikers.
Yeah,
they're forwards.
Yeah,
but that means I can play 3-4-2 or 3-4-3 rather, or 3-5-2, and just get all the extra goals. And that's the beauty of it. Love it. I mean, obviously, you're the one who's walking away with our fantasy league team, and congratulations to you. I mean, you're like 100 points ahead of me. You'd have to get no points tomorrow, and I'd have to get like 800,000 points to catch up with you.
Kind of like Spurs Arsenal situation there for fourth.
Yeah, I can't see that happening. So yes, but don't be dissing Mane, because I mean, he frustrates me at times. Like I said, when he has to jump in with the elbows a little bit much, because he's done that several times. But yeah.
So Glenn asked for thoughts on the new home kit, and he ordered one today. You know, it's growing on me. Marcus has the new Liverpool kit there. Looks great.
It's actually more of a burgundy. Yeah, well, you can see it in fact compared to the old one. This is, I mean, this is obviously a super vintage one, but I do have another standard chartered one here. This is from a couple of years ago, but you can see the slight difference in red. This is a brighter popping red. This one is more of a deep crimson, and it's incredibly comfortable, and I love it. And I actually, for the first time ever, got my name on the back of a jersey. I've never done that before. I do like it. I'm not as big a fan of the collar as on that one as I am on our older one, because it was more snug around the collar. This one too, that was a little looser.
For Man City, they have a kit. Their home kit is inspired by Colin Bell. They have the classic maroon piping on the collar and sleeves. The crest is in the center, which I am not big on, but I think it's a good looking kit overall. The best kit that Puma has done since they took over the contract from Nike. I really wish they'd get rid of Puma as soon as the contract is up. I like the Nike kits a lot. I love the old school Umbro ones from before that. And how are the New Balance kits when Liverpool had them, Marcus?
Oh, I think this actually is a New Balance one.
Yeah,
this is the New Balance kit. I really like this. I actually bought this one when I went to see Liverpool play. They were playing at the Rose Bowl.
That's right.
2016. They were playing. It was the year we signed Sadio Mane. And it was the first time we were seeing him in action. We were playing Chelsea. We lost 1-0, very scrappy game. But I bought that. And yeah, it's a great, comfortable kit. Like I said, I like the neckline. It feels nice and comfortable. But I do like the new Nike kit. I think I like the darker crimson. It's a departure for us to be there. And considering some of the fashion disasters we've had over the years, I'm not going to be mad at it.
Now, before we talk about our pick for league winner, I want to get on a positive note, and I want to say something nice about your team, and I'd like you to say something nice about my team, if you can find that within yourself. One of the things that I admire most about Liverpool is how quickly you integrate new signings. Like last year, Jota hit the ground running and was fantastic. This year, Louis Diaz was fantastic. And compare that to City, most of our new signings sucked the first year, like Mahrez, Bernardo, Leroy Sané, Rodri. I mean, almost all of them. The only exception was Ruben Diaz, who had a great first year. But almost all of Pep's signings first year, not so good. Liverpool, you guys have great recruitment, find the perfect player for your needs, and they fit in straight away. It's pretty phenomenal.
I think the success has been. I mean, you say that, but then you also look at Fabinho and Andy Robertson. They didn't play for probably 6 months after being signed,
right?
Because they were being bedded in. And you look at somebody like Naby Keita, who's still being bedded in 4 years later. I mean, we got lucky, I think. I mean, Kanate didn't play. It has been sort of like slowly integrated into the team, didn't play much the first couple of months, and then slowly started more and more game timed. But yeah, Jota, I think Jota coming from another Premier League team, that was always more of a no-brainer. He was used to hitting the ground running, and he was used to playing in a similar formation. Diaz, wow. I mean, I
didn't see that coming.
Nobody saw that. Nobody saw that coming. I mean, to go literally into the first team and just be man of the match. I think in the League Cup final and in the FA Cup final, and was it 4 assists, 3 goals.
And he was great when Mo and Sadio were out for AFCON.
Yeah, I mean everybody thought, myself included, that we were going to struggle because we traditionally struggled around that time of year anyway. And since the West Ham game, we haven't struggled. We've been really good. And yeah, we've just reeled in that huge lead from Man City. So I'm going to say something nice about Man City now, have I?
All right.
Well, you're not Man United.
And I thank Odin every day for that.
No, I will say that. Now, what can I say about Manchester City that is not mean? Well, look, I have a genuine respect for Pep and the players. And let's face it, if you win tomorrow, it's because you've got more points at the end of the season and you deserve to win. You have to take away. You have to caveat stuff with the, like remove the ownership, remove the the prawn cocktail fans, the fair weather ones, remove the fact that the Etihad on European nights is empty or half empty, and that all the money spent and Pep still can't win the European Cup. But I mean, Manchester City, I actually wanted Liverpool to play Man City in the final. I thought a banging final, but I mean, you just got to admire what the team Pep has built, and the way they play football and the players that he's brought in. I mean, that it's like Ruben Diaz. I'd never heard of Ruben Diaz before he came in, and he's like one of the best defenders on the planet. Yeah, I mean, I'm playing without a striker.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like, yeah, we're not going to play again, but we still score the most goals in the season. Yeah, I mean, it's just this amazing ability to get over the line in the league. It's that level of consistency that my team aspires to, and every team should aspire to. So I think that's the nicest thing I can say, is that the consistency and the quality of play, and you. Despite not having a striker, you've scored the most goals, and now you've got the goal machine coming.
You got a Viking,
and you'll still lose in the Champions League.
Yeah, we'll see. Because I give PSG shit about the ways they manage to lose in Champions League, but it's not like my team's doing any better. So,
it's an art form, and it is a peculiarly Pep art form. It really is. I don't know. I think he overthinks it. I mean, he really does overthink it. He has too much time on his hands when he gets to a semi or a final, and he just overcomplicates things.
There are times, I think it's 50-50. He definitely did overthink against Spurs. Last year, I don't think he did overthink it. I mean, he put Gundogan in as defensive mid instead of Fernandinho, but that's not why they lost. So I do think he does overthink these knockout ties, but sometimes he doesn't, and he gets accused of just because of history.
I think for the final last year, it sucked because it was tough because Chelsea had that new manager bounce.
Yeah.
In Tuchel, and he'd come on board and he'd invigorated them after Fat Frank was shuttled to one side. Now, if you ever want an example of failing up in life, I mean, Fat Frank is just the guy. So yeah, that's the best thing I can say. I hope that's okay.
No, that's great. And tomorrow, how do you think it's all going to play out? Will it be Man City or Liverpool winning the league?
The head says Man City because Man City has everything. I mean, one, they have the 1 point lead. Two, they're playing at home. They rarely drop points 2 games in a row. I think our chance came and went with that own goal by West Ham last week. If that own goal hadn't happened and Mahrez had still missed the penalty, then I'd have thought, you know what, it's in our hands. We've got this. Now, do I think Liverpool will turn up and beat Wolves tomorrow? Yeah. Probably 4 or 5-0. I think Divock Origi will get a goal or two. He'll come on for the last 20 minutes, half an hour before going off to Milan. Now, in my ideal scenario, because obviously, you're up against Aston Villa. And you're not up against Aston Villa as in just any old Aston Villa team. You are up against Danny Ings up front, ex-Liverpool player. Felipe Coutinho, ex-Liverpool player. Gary McAllister, ex-Liverpool player, who's the assistant manager there. And, of course, the legend that is Stevie G.
Yeah.
Gerrard. Now,
Gerard playing the long game, the very long game.
well, a lot of people say, I mean, Jurgen signed his 2-year extension to give Stevie G another couple more years to percolate as a manager and get used to the Premier League. And if he wants to be the Liverpool manager, he can start tomorrow by getting a result. And I actually have the super secret plan that he has in place.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So he's going to play just one goalkeeper. He's going to play a back 8. Just in front of the back 8 is going to be Coutinho. And then you're going to have Ollie Watkins and Danny Ings pressed right up against your centre backs, otherwise known as the Walking Dead. Because even though Walker's back tomorrow, I think the first time he runs for a ball, he's probably going to do a hamstring.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is Tyrone Mings is going to head the ball clear. It's going to go to Coutinho. Coutinho's going to lob it over the defense for Ings to run onto. Edison's going to come out, concede a free kick outside the box, and get sent off in the process. Coutinho's going to bury that goal. And then Manchester City are just going to attack, and Coutinho, like a conductor, is just going to ping these balls over the defense, because you're going to have Zach Galifianakis, or whatever his fucking name is, Stefan, in goal after Edison's sent off. And Aston Villa are going to win 6-0. Hat-tricks for Ings and for Coutinho. Actually, no, I'll go for Ollie Watkins, actually, because he's on my team. No, what I think is going to happen is it will probably be quite a tight game at first, and then you'll cut them apart, and you'll probably win by 4 or 5 at least, because Manchester City get the job done, and it's that consistency, that's that goal-scoring prowess. It's getting into the groove. Now, Aston Villa might be able to frustrate them for the first half. There might be a repeat of the West Ham game, but I can't see it happening. So, yeah, I mean, it looks like Liverpool will have to make do with 3 trophies this season.
Yeah, I think you are favored in Champions League. Just squad quality and age. I mean,
also, fuck Real Madrid, man. Fuck them. Fuck both Spanish teams. They think they've got this God-given right to the best players over and over again. And they've been building, Barcelona have been a prime example of building on a house of sand and lies. And the lies are just the devil's lies. I mean, they're so in debt, and they still manage to try to sign players like Aubameyang. And you look at Real Madrid, and it's like, oh, we're in trouble too. We can't really afford to sign a lot of people, but we want Mbappe and Haaland. Like, how the fuck can you justify that? Well, it's because we get subsidized by the local government and blah blah blah. I mean, Barca and Real are not all that in a bag of chips. They've got exceptionally lucky. They were so lucky to get past Man City. They were lucky to get past Chelsea, much like Villarreal were in the other side, where they went past Bayern and Juventus. But at the end of the day, the luck only stretches so far, and it's like, yes, we've seen you, we're prepared for you, we send you off, bye-bye. And I think we want revenge for 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And the attack on Mo Salah. I mean, it sucks that douchebag Ramos is not playing for Real Madrid, but it doesn't suck that he's playing for Paris, who can't even get to the semis anymore. So yes, I think if we hit the ground running with a fully fit Van Dijk and Henderson and Sane and Sadio Mane and Mo Salah rested up, raring to go, and put himself in the shop window for a lucrative move this summer, I will settle for the cup treble, because at the end of the day, whoever's got the most points in the league clearly deserves to win it, and the most consistent team so far has been your good selves.
Got a little lucky there. I mean, losing to Crystal Palace like that, I wasn't feeling great about our squad. And this calendar year, your team has been incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I think Diaz was one of the final pieces of the puzzle. But I mean, we had some injuries. But Kanate wasn't bedded in. I mean, he played against Brentford in the 3-3 tie and wasn't really that good. And so that's the thing. We've come good in the second half of the season, but you've been good all season. You've had a couple of slip-ups. I think you lost to Spurs.
Yeah, twice.
I mean, we drew with Spurs twice. I mean, our problem's been the draws. We've only lost against two teams. We lost against West Ham away, fucking Leicester away. The Leicester one was the worst performance of the season for me. West Ham not far behind it, but yeah, I mean the draws against Chelsea, against Spurs, and against Man City. I mean, those are 6 draws. That again, we've got to be able to beat the other members of the top 4, and we haven't beaten any of them. And on that alone, I don't think we'll do it tomorrow. Heart says otherwise, but you just got to go with your head on that one.
Yeah, I mean the Stevie G story is nice. I don't think it matters though.
Yeah, I mean there's romance and then there's like
logic. Yeah. So those are our predictions. We think Man City is going to win the league. We think Leeds are going to take the final relegation spot, and we think Spurs are going to hang on for that final Champions League spot. So, Marcus, thank you for hanging out, talking football.
Thank you. Fun. We should do this more often. We should do this.
Yeah,
we should do this. Post set of results every week.
Yeah, we'll do our own like soccer Saturday. I'll be Chris Kamara.
Retired.
Oh, actually, he's been sick lately, huh?
He's retiring. He's actually tomorrow's his last game.
I saw he was on a ventilator.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been around for a long time. But yes, we should.
And then Jeff unquit. Like Jeff announced he was leaving, but then changed his mind.
He went Brady.
Yeah, he did.
Tom Brady.
He pulled a Tom Brady. Yes.
Yeah. Well, all right. Now I'm going to have to go look this up.
So
all right. Look for my congratulatory text tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or not.
Don't forget to follow Marcus on Twitter at AnnoyedGamer. Hopefully we'll see Marcus on Twitch again soon. He has a very entertaining Twitch stream. I am Beer. And don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, blah, 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 all that. Please like this video, subscribe. If you subscribe to Marcus's Twitch and my Twitch, both of us will live 1 month longer. This is science. Scientific fact.
That is not the case in my thing, but yeah.
Don't tell them that.
You live a month more. I live a month less.
No, we can't have that.
Kill me.
Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time. If you leave a comment, if you want to see Marcus and I do more football content, probably going to do it anyway because it's just fun and we need things to do.
And then SiriusXM will offer us our own show.
Excellent.
Which will be better than
guys. Thanks so much.